I want to take you on a little journey with me and kind of invite you to kind of fold back the pages in time of your book of life and cast your mind back to a memory that we all have in common, the day that we were born. So put your hands up if you can remember that day. No, me either, but bear with me on this, all right? Bear with me on this. So we have this kind of like beautiful formative moment where we first come out into the world. We're clean, we're innocent, we're pure. And what's the first thing that we come up against? We come up against, oh, should we cut the cord? Should we not cut the cord? Should it be skin on skin? Should it be in the crib? Should we be hearing crying? Should we not be hearing crying? We kind of form a little bit older. We get a little bit older and we start exploring the world with our mouths and we start putting things in our mouth because that's where the sensations of curiosity are at that age. And what happens, quite rightly, the parents come along and snatch away those tiny objects. But also, there's a giant beach ball here that I'm trying to get in my mouth, and there's no way that beach ball is going to go down my throat. But still, that beach ball gets snatched away. And as a result, the learning that comes doesn't come until later because that child hasn't figured out that that beach ball's not going to go down its throat. So it's going to go straight back to that beach ball and high again because it hasn't learned it. We get a little bit older and we start kind of climbing up on things and we rough and tumble and we come running in as parents and we scoop that child up. Oh, you can't stand there, you can't do that, be careful, be careful. But our bodies are engineered at that age to rough and tumble. Yet we're told we can't rough and tumble, we can't learn to walk until we're ready. This continues. We make it into school and we are told, if you don't pass your exams, you ain't going to get a good job. Don't talk in class. This is what we're told, and this doesn't end at education. Indeed, I swear that this is probably where the most damage comes, but it doesn't end there. We come into the workplace, and we are told, 3 strikes and you're out. It's all about the bottom line. It's all about the money. Get it right. Don't get it wrong. If you get it wrong, there will be consequences. This is why I created the Church of Fail, to combat this kind of toxic environment of right and wrong, which in itself is subjective by nature. What is right for one person may be wrong for another. What is the Church of Fail, I hear some of you ask? So the Church of Fail is a bringing together of 3 distinct practices: theatre and stagecraft. So we have like what we call a theatre, or even a church if you like. They have a lot in common. Call it as you wish. Improvisation, the celebration of failure, or as an improviser would say, there are no such things as failures, there's just experiences and how we respond to them. And then finally, of course, the important stuff, sound business logic. What have we learned from these experiences? So how does it work? Well, it looks a little bit like this. You stand up at the front after setting the room out in a style that's reminiscent of a theatre or a church. It can be done with 3 people, it can be done with 300 people. It works at scale. You step forward, and you ask yourself 3 questions. What did I fail at? How did I cope with it? And what would I do differently next time? You then receive a huge round of applause, and you're not allowed to leave this spot until that round of applause ends. This is the first thing they teach you in the first improv class you do, accepting praise and a round of applause. And the peculiar feeling that comes from standing there in the moment and receiving that round of applause, coupled with the vulnerability of sharing something personal to you, whatever it may be, leaves a far-lasting impression on that individual and those in the audience than if you just wrote down on a bit of paper you're learning or kind of beat yourself up in the corner of the room. I've been absolutely fascinated with how this has kind of like caught on like wildfire. When I created it in a cottage in Wales at a team off-site 5 years ago, I never thought it would get where it is. It's been featured in The Guardian. Inc. magazine have come over to Brighton to do a feature on it. That was part of their photo shoot, and I absolutely love it. I've seen a grown man break down in tears because he'd realized in sharing that he'd spend far too much time at work and not enough time with his family. I've seen a director of a company directly attribute a winning pitch because of a learning that he shared about a previous losing pitch in a Church of Fail. And I've also seen much more light-hearted things, like people who have busted the photocopier or tweeted a photo they shouldn't. And I've even seen one where a woman kind of took a risk with wearing a dress that had a dodgy button and it popped open on a train. All sorts. They're all important to each of those people as individuals. And some people share big, some people share small, but it's all relevant to each other. I really think that the current system is broken and is not fit for purpose. This kind of way that we've been conditioned as we've grown up, that we can't get things wrong. And I really genuinely believe that a new mindset is required for the day and age that we're in. So what mindset is that? We need a mindset that is open, a mindset that presumes trust instead of expecting it to be earned. A mindset that allows an environment to be curated where people can feel valued, people can feel heard, and they can contribute as much or as little as they want. And what mindset is that? I think that's an improviser's mindset. I'd like to leave you just with 3 questions to take away with yourselves and use them as you wish. What did you fail at? How did you cope with it? And what would you do differently next time? Thank you.